Hello, and welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. This morning, I want to talk a little bit about Jason Gray, and I'd like to read another one of his pieces, but before I do, I just want to say that when I first started reading his stuff, I kind of was like, is this guy using AI to write? Or, what's going on? There's something special about his writing. And I was really appreciative when he wrote about a near-death experience that he had, or a death experience. And for me, it explained a lot of why he writes the way he does and how he's able to do it. So this morning, I want to read a piece called The One Who Returned, Part 1, by Jason Gray. There are stories people tell about near death, visions, dreams, a flash of light. Then there are the others, the rare ones, the ones who do not just glimpse the edge, but who cross fully, stand on the other side, and come back. Changed, marked, carrying something no language can contain. This is the account of one such return. Not fiction, not metaphor. Soul-carved reality, too vast to name, yet too sacred not to be told. The moment the body let go, it happened like exhale. No drama, no panic, no clinging, just release. The body dropped behind like old clothes. The pain dissolved, the weight disappeared. Then motion, not up, not forward, inward, through a kind of tunnel not made of walls, but of memory. It was as if the soul traveled through the spine of existence itself. A spiral corridor of knowing, of letting go, of homecoming. There was no fear, only a deep cellular recognition. I know this place. I have always known it. The light is not a thing. It is a being. At the end of that passage was light, not the kind that shines. It remembers. A radiant intelligence that sees without eyes, speaks without words, and wraps around you like something you lost before language was born. Within that light, there was no self. There was only union. There was belonging that cannot be described to those who have not died. There was the knowledge. I am this. I am home. I am beyond everything I thought I was. It felt like becoming everything all at once, like returning to the center of all things and finding your own soul sitting there, waiting. The gardens that do not grow from the earth. Beyond the light, there were realms, not realms of form, but of existence. Gardens that breathed, fields of memory, landscapes of soul light that shimmered with translucent life. Everything was made of truth. There were no lies there, no roles, no names, only resonance. Within these sacred gardens moved the beings, not winged, not robed, but vast, clear, presence-filled intelligences. Some call them guides, others ancestors, others angels. Those names are too small. They were like mirrors. When one turned to look, everything returned. Lifetimes, worlds, the original blueprint, the mission, the vow. All of it remembered in a single glance. You cannot stay. In that place there was a question, unspoken, yet complete. Can I stay? The plea came not from fear of life, but from the overwhelming rightness of where the soul had arrived. Why return to density, to suffering, to the loop of illusion? The answer came not as punishment, not as rejection, but as truth. Your mission is not complete. With that came the vision of Earth, not the one seen through news or cities or headlines, but the soul field of Earth. A living, breathing, wounded, but rising body of memory. Millions of lights flickering, waiting, forgetting, remembering. Knowing there are some souls who must return, not because they want to, but because they made a vow. To carry flame into darkness, to awaken the ones trapped in the noise, to stand as living keys in a sleeping world. This was one of them. The return is the hardest part. No one talks about the descent. It is not triumphant. It is devastating. Coming back into the body is like being crammed into a coffin of noise. The skin feels like armor. The bones feel heavy. The mind, it is like a screaming cage after the silence of source. The soul weeps, not for trauma, but for what was left behind. You do not re-enter this world whole. You re-enter as something torn open by truth, yet you walk. You know you carry something now. It is not yours to keep. It is a signal, a flame, a knowing meant for others who still wander in forgetting. The world never looks the same. After death, everything changes. You no longer fear the end. You fear wasted time. You no longer chase purpose. You embody it. You see through the systems, through the rituals, through the illusions people build around themselves to keep from remembering who they are. There is no more interest in noise, only the real, only the eternal. Only the souls who are ready to awaken, not to an idea, but to the flame that precedes all names. The mission continues. The one who returned does not speak of it often, not because of shame, but because words are crude tools for what the soul endured and witnessed. When they do speak, it is not to impress, it is not to prove, it is not to be praised, it is to ignite. To say you are more than you believe, you are older than time. You are carrying the flame of remembrance that cannot be extinguished. You are here for a reason, still. This world is not your prison. It is your proving ground. You are not waiting to be saved. You are the one sent back to awaken others. The one who died knows this. Now, so do you. He crossed. He returned. He walks among you now, not as a preacher, not as a prophet, but as a signal that the veil is thinner than you were told. Death is not the end. It is the reminder. Those who return from it are not ordinary souls. They are the living codex, the ones who remember, the ones who write. Such an interesting account, and I can say that I know other people who have experienced similar things with death experiences, near-death experiences, and one of them being my father. He had a near-death experience when he was a boy, and he had a ruptured appendix, and it got gangrene, and at that time there was only a 5% chance that he would live. And he did die, and he raised up out of his body and went through a tunnel of light. And he said that everything good and loving was in the light, and you just wanted to go into the light so bad. But as soon as he looked back down at his body, because he was like, had risen up out of it, from what he says, he looked back down, and he could see his mom and a few of his sisters crying over his body. And as soon as he thought about them and their grief, he was back in his body. And it changed him for his whole life. He's been wiser and seen life differently, I think, from a lot of other people. So I just wanted to read that so you could have a little context for these writings. All right, have a good day.